Hello, Zalto Live listeners. Before we get started, we wanted to let you know that more teachings from Zen monk Claude AnShin Thomas are available in his two books, At Hell's Gate, A Soldier's Journey from War to Peace, and Bringing Meditation to Life, 108 Teachings on the Path of Zen Practice. Both are available wherever books are sold, and all proceeds go to the Zalto Foundation, dedicated to promoting nonviolence, awareness, and positive change.
Hello and welcome to Zalto Live, the podcast featuring Zen Buddhist monk Claude AnShin Thomas, who will share with you his life experiences that includes not only military combat, personal violence, and addiction, but also healing, transformation, and the ongoing joy of everyday life. Please enjoy listening.
I'm usually not successful at it. It's hard for me to talk sitting down. See? The first thing I would like to say is, let's not be too serious. You know, I'm often invited into Zen centers to meet with the people there and to do such a thing. And I come into the Zen center and I see all these people sitting here like, and it's like, really, that's not what this is about. This practice is not about that. In a way, it's kind of, I heard the phrase, it's in a way, it's kind of the stink of Zen. It's some idea of it. See, and this brings me to, yes, it brings me to the, I was looking for the mouse. Yeah. No, it brings me to the, it brings me again and again back to the core teachings. See, Zen is not other than Buddhist practice. And some people look at it as somehow different. It's not. And really, if we have spent a time in a committed practice and we haven't studied the essential teachings, then I would really invite you to do that. It's really important. The Heart Sutra, the Diamond Sutra, the Avatamsaka Sutra, the Lankavatara Sutra, and the Platform Sutra. The Lankavatara Sutra is echoed as the Holy Grail of Zen. But when studying these texts, it's important to not studying them as if we were in some academic course, but to really just read them. Let the words fall on us like rain. Something familiar with in Germany and the Netherlands, rain. Yes. But really, just let the words fall on us like rain. Some of it will make sense to us and some of it won't. But see, what doesn't make sense to us is our efforts to intellectually comprehend what's being said. And really, the whole spirit of teaching is to transcend the intellect, to come to a place of knowing beyond the intellect. And we exist in a world, we live in a world of coexisting realms. There is the realm of the relative and the realm of the absolute. They are not two things. They are coexisting. They're not one thing, but they're not two things. In the world of the relative, there is a world of right, wrong, yes, no, good, bad, I like you, I don't like you. In the absolute realm, there's only truth. Right? Now, see if you're ready for this. Okay. What's the most important thing in your life? Quick. Love. Okay. No. She's laughing. Huh? What's the most important thing in your life? Freedom. So breath. No, love. Freedom. What's the most important thing in the way back in your life? Life. So we have love, freedom, and life. Now I'm going to do an exercise with you. I want you in this exercise to just imagine that you're in my skin. Yeah? You ready, Gunnar? Other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Yes. So, where's the love lady? At the moment I pulled the hand away from my mouth, what was the most important thing in my life? What's that? Breath. Yes? The very foundation of existence. One breath followed by one. Yeah? Because we breathe in, there's no guarantee we'll breathe out. And because we breathe out, there's no guarantee we breathe in. And the truth of all understanding exists in the space between breathing in and breathing out. Now, I'm ordained in the Zen tradition. I didn't dress up, there's not a costume. I'm being hosted by Paul. Paul can attest to the fact that, indeed, these are the clothes that I wear the majority of time. I'm a mendicant by vow. Bettelmunch. Now, in the tradition in which I'm ordained, and as it's been passed down through the ancients, if we have a moment of awareness, we bring that to the community. And we present it to the community, and they respond to that. Yeah? Now, if there's anyone among you who does not think that breath is the very foundation of life, come sit in a chair. No, I'm serious. Come sit in a chair. I'll cover your nose and my mouth and we'll check your theory. And this comes exactly to the point. It does not matter what we think. It doesn't matter what we believe, and it doesn't matter what we say. It matters what we do. The whole point of practice is to wake up to the suffering that's been communicated to us through endless streams of past generations. Within us exists mother, father. Within us exist grandparents, great-grandparents, endlessly back through space and time. All of that exists in us. All of it. If we want the world to be different, we need to be willing to live differently. And we can't think ourselves into that. We have to live ourselves into that. And the only way to do that is, here's what the second person that I studied with, the person I'm ordained by, here's what he said to me. So when I met him, this was a while ago now. It's like nearly 30 years ago, right? So I was, I had really long blonde hair. I loved my hair, yeah. And I was a bit edgy. For those of you who don't know, I was a combat soldier in Vietnam. I was injured very seriously there and spent a significant amount of time in hospital. I served as a crew chief on helicopter, slick ships and gunships, and while in the air on missions, my responsibility was to man a 7.62 millimeter machine gun. I carry that. I carry the reality of that experience everywhere all the time. It never goes away. The task is to wake up. The suffering's not out here. It's here. Healing is not out here. It's here. So love. I mean, this comes up often. Some will say love. I mean, love is important. I will never disagree with you. Life, freedom. Yeah, freedom. The majority of us sitting in this room are not free. Freedom is not an idea. It really isn't. Although we have a lot of ideas about what freedom is. And
no, I said life.
Life, yes. Yes. Those are important. Really. But without a conscious awareness of our breath, without being willing to really experience the truth of our existence, which exists beyond our ideas of it, the reality of war, violence, and suffering continues. Because the roots of war, violence, and suffering are here in us. It's not something that's happened outside of us. It's here. What are we willing to do? This is the question that was asked. So I came, there was the second time I met the person I'm ordained by Zen Tetsugen. And when I was anxious, I would talk a lot. So I came into the office, I was a bit nervous and anxious, and I sat down with him and I was talking real fast, and Tetsugen said, why don't we just stop and sit for a little bit? I said, oh, okay. So we sat for a little bit, and when he said, okay, that's enough, he looked at me, he said, I want to ordain you. That's the second time I met this guy, right? And so I looked at him, I said, well, what do you want with me? You see, I wasn't where I'm at now, I wasn't there. Yeah. He said, nothing. I just want you to continue to practice, continue to sit, and do what you do. It was the correct thing to say at the time, it wasn't necessarily the truth. So I said, okay, so if I say yes, I said, do I have to shave my head? He said, of course you do. And I was thinking, oh man, I love my hair, right? It was a point of serious consideration for me. Now think about this. We're talking about ideas, right? It brings us right back to the Lankavatara Sutra. At the age of 17, I joined the military. At the age of 18, I volunteered to go to war. I was a true believer. I had no reservations to pick up a gun. I had no reservations to pull the trigger. None. And there I was, hesitant to shave my head. It's the realm of ideas, how that works. Yeah. If I want the world to be different, I need to be willing to live differently. So in these circles, as I move through the world, and I travel pretty extensively, I'm invited like this into different centers. But what I find interesting is that people in these different centers, they don't talk to each other. They don't interact with each other. Everyone wants to sort of hold on to their own sort of specialness. Gosh, if ever people needed each other, we need each other. Sitting with Jifu, she does it really different. Well, not really different, but she does it pretty different than how I do it, or how I've learned to do it. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What do I experience? What do I experience in connection with her? This is the point. You know, the phone conversation, the meeting, the tea. What do I experience? How do we carry the essence of this teaching? You see, what we did here, sitting, that's not meditation. Yeah, I said this to Shifu. Jifu. I said this to Jifu, and she kind of went, what? I said, no. Now, when I continued on, there wasn't any disagreement. It's just a matter of language. You see, meditation and daily life aren't two things. So how do we take what we're doing here and carry that into everything we do all the time? How do we do that? When we get up off this cushion, the practice hasn't stopped. Now, generally, I'm meeting with people who don't have any exposure to Zen practice, to Buddhist practice. And so here's what I tasked them to do, but not only to the uninitiated. So first thing when you get up in the morning, first thing, make your bed like you never slept in it. And then sit 5 minutes. Just 5. Not more, not less. Right? When you get up, first thing when you get up, make your bed like you never slept in it, and then sit for 5 minutes. And then when you get up from your sitting place, you carry that attention or intention with you into everything you do. So when we walk from the place we were sitting, maybe we go to the bathroom, brush our teeth, use the toilet. When we walk, it's an opportunity to practice. When we brush our teeth, it's an opportunity to practice. When we make breakfast, whatever that is for us, it's an opportunity to practice. In the center, everywhere, whenever we do retreats anywhere, it's when you get up off the place where you're sitting, you leave that place as if you never sat there. You prepare for the next person who will sit there, which will be Buddha. To really care for the spaces that nourish us and protect us. They provide us the opportunity to do what we do. When I wash the dishes, I really like washing dishes. When I wash the dishes and I leave the kitchen, leave the sink as if I was never there. To really be that attentive, to slow things down. Because you see, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. In all of our ideas of things, we create the world around us. You see, and all those ideas are shaped by all those family generations that came before us, and by the collective conscious of which we are a part of. What is the collective conscious? It's the institutions of entertainment, education, politics, sports, and all other institutions. I don't know. See, they sort of establish the kind of rules of consensus society. So we need to conform. And so I'm in Switzerland. I'm just using this arbitrary. It's not only Switzerland. So please, I'm not knacking on Switzerland. So I'm in Switzerland. It's Sunday morning, and I have a group. We're practicing in the open church there. There's about 30 or 35 of us, and so we do kinhin outside. We're walking meditation outside, and we come to the light. There's no traffic. There's no people, and the crossing guy is red. So there's no one coming. I cross the road. I just walk across the road. I mean, why not, right? There's no traffic, there's no people, but there was someone standing on the other side of the road and started screaming at me and giving me a lecture. Yeah? Now, this is not just Switzerland. And I remember I stopped, and I had someone who could translate for me. And I said, so tell me, what's really more important? To pay attention to the sign or pay attention to the traffic? See, if we get locked into habitual patterns of things, like when we come in and we sit, are we really sitting? Or is it just some exercise that we're going through? Are we really bringing our full attention there? Do we really have a commitment to wake up? Are we really willing to live differently? This practice has helped me save my life. In the United States, and I suspect not only the United States, but in the United States today, between 17 and 22 young men and women kill themselves every day that served in the military. They take their own lives. Those statistics weren't kept when I was serving and when I got out of the military, but I know enough people who took their own lives. And I know that I was one of those people. No, I mean, I'm not an apparition here. I didn't take one. But on the 13th of April, 1983, I overdosed. It wasn't really, it was intentional. And not that I wanted to die, but I didn't know how to live. I didn't know how to live. Because life wasn't conforming to all of my ideas of it. And when I made an effort to talk with people about how I was feeling, they didn't really want to hear it. They didn't want to know. They didn't want to experience that. They would often come up to me and they would often say, oh yes, by the way, first name is Claude. I'm not French. That's my given name. AnShin is my ordained name. So back then they'd look at me and they'd go, Claude, oh Claude, dude, you're way too intense. You need to, I got to get out of here. And so I always thought there was something really wrong with me. But what I learned was what they were communicating to me was that in my company, they were being brought to places of feeling and memory that they didn't expect to be at and didn't know what to do with. See, that's what happens when we sit. If we're really sitting, that's what happens. If we're sitting just to sit, that's what happens. I was sharing with Jifu. I keep wanting to call you Sifu. Sorry. I was talking with Jifu earlier, and I heard this someplace. Somebody said it. They said, when you're sitting on a cushion, you're sitting on a bomb. I shouldn't have, the internet, I shouldn't have said that. They're going to be hunting me. But it's true, because in the silence, all things become known. But we also have to be extremely careful that we don't use the cushion as an escape. It's meditation, not medication. I also shared this earlier. I don't know what sort of possessed me, but I never was really looking for anything when I came to Zen practice. I really wasn't. I was in therapy. I was working with a psychiatrist and a social worker. And the social worker, I was in a group of both men and women because I was attempting to learn how to socialize. I was really, after the war, I was just lost. And I tell you, I don't know that I ever knew how to socialize. I went to military at 17. Paul, do you mind if I mention your daughter? Yes. Paul has a 17-year-old daughter, right? I met her today, and I went, 17? Wow, that's really young. It's really young. But when I was 17, I didn't feel young. Yeah. But I joined the military at 17. I don't know if I ever knew how to interact with people. When I came into the military, so I was conditioned, right? See, I'm talking about inherited karma here, right? what's been passed to us from all those past generations. Yeah. My father was a soldier in the Second War. My grandfather, a soldier in the First War. My great-grandfather in the war with Spain. The Spanish call it different, but... and I was a soldier in Vietnam. Most of the men, I grew up in a rural farming community in Pennsylvania, and most of the men in my community had served in the Second War, and they never told the truth about their experience. They only told glamorous stories and sat around and got drunk. My father was a school teacher, wonderful man. He was he was in the town government. He was a volunteer fire worker. He was on the rescue truck. He was active in the politics of education in Pennsylvania, and he died at the age of 53. He drank himself to death. He drank alcoholically, smoked 50 to 60 cigarettes a day, had a horrible diet. As my father was, I become. The more I make an effort to not be like him, the more I become him. Yeah. In the military hospital, they gave me, I was about 9 months in military hospital. They were giving me narcotics, morphine for pain. They never stopped giving it to me. They discharged me out of the military and out of the hospital and never stopped giving me morphine. So they discharged me. I had two major addictions: narcotics and violence. Yeah. Until about April of 1984, I carried a gun everywhere. And I wouldn't hesitate to use it. It was my safety. It was my security. You imagine this? I was resistant to shave my head. But I wasn't resistant to carry a gun. I wasn't resistant to use it. I wasn't resistant to be an instrument of war, violence, and suffering. I didn't know how to live any differently. Because at the age of 17, I went into the military, and there, the conditioning I had playing competitive sports, which is paramilitary training, led me. They just took that and gave it steroids. They amped it. They amplified it. Yeah. I came to Europe to do some advanced training. And at that point, everyone that wasn't a U.S. American soldier was inferior. Everyone. I was raised, I don't see that's true. Growing up, I was conditioned to be a racist. I was conditioned to be misogynistic. I was conditioned to create, to be religiously insensitive. There must be a word for that, I just don't know it. Yeah. And I'm still of that nature. That conditioning doesn't go away. The only way that it can go away is if I'm willing to be present to it. And just like this bell invites us to do, it's to stop. Just stop. Come back to your breath. Because the point of practice is to maintain an active relation with your breath all the time, every moment of every day. To never take it for granted. So I want to stand here. I'll stand here in front of you. And I'll say, for all of the harm that I have ever caused you, in thought, speech, or action, I apologize to you. And I make a commitment to never do those things again. For all of the harm that I've ever caused you, in thought, speech, or action, I apologize to you. And I make a commitment to never do those things again. For all of the harm that I have ever caused you in thought, speech, or action, I apologize to you. And I make a commitment to never do those things again. If I want my life to be different, I had to do things differently. First off, I had to stop getting high. Yes. See, if we really want to wake up, we have to take away those social anesthetics. That means no alcohol. Alcohol, by the way, is not a beverage. It's a central nervous system depressant. Really, it's true. But how often we want to sort of, I've had people come up to me and say, oh, Anshin, you're the one. I really want to study with you. I'm talking here. What? They say, I really want to study with you. Really, I go, I'll do anything. They say, I'll do anything. I go, oh, yeah, really? Anything. Okay. They said, well, what do I got to do? I said, first off, you need to stop consuming alcohol. Nothing, zero. And they go, well, my last teacher said I could have like 1 glass of wine. They said it's, and I said, well, go study with them. You know? Really, we need to remove those social anesthetics. I'm not a prohibitionist. I mean, you'll do what you want to do. But if we really want to wake up, what are we willing to do? To stop supporting institutions of killing. No meat, no fish, no poultry. Stop. What are you willing to do? Yeah? Because if we want the world to be different, we do need to live differently. One of the greatest contributors to greenhouse gases, okay, are you ready for this? It's animal farts. Really. Cows, pigs. It takes 26 acres, so that would be what? About half of that. So let's say 13. A little less than, it takes like 13 hectares of grain to support 1 cow. What do we do with all the waste? I mean, again, I'm not a prohibitionist. I'm not out here to preach. It's just, if I want to do things differently, I need to be willing to see the truth of what things are. And it's not just my truth. It's not. Yeah. I trust in science. I don't abandon my common sense, but I trust in science. I trust the information that's given to me. Or let's say I trust the information that I can discover. And what helps me to do that, 1, no intoxicants. 0. So 13th of April, 1983, I experienced that overdose. I hope it's the last one. 28th of May, 1983, I entered into a rehabilitation center for those who are chemically dependent. I haven't had any alcohol or any other mood-altering substances for 42 plus years. The first 7 years of that journey were excruciating. They were so painful. But I also discovered in that process that the only supportive reality was a spiritual reality. Yeah? And if a thing is not practical, it's not spiritual. Spiritual is not this, people go, oh, spiritual. It's not that. It's how I take care of the sink, how I engage with people on the street, how I care for the chair and the cushion that support me, how I'm thankful for the people who provide me the space to be present, to give me a place to sleep, warm place to sleep. You see, I live as a mendicant. I don't I don't have any income, no money, no retirement, no health insurance, no life insurance. I don't have any of the social safety nets. So if people don't provide me a place to stay and food to eat, I sleep outside and I don't eat. And it has happened. It has happened to me. I also spend a great deal of time practicing. Not the Zendo is, this is a beautiful Zendo you have up there. It's really nice. But you know, that's only one expression. The Zendo is everywhere. It's everywhere. Your car is a Zendo. It's an opportunity to practice. Yeah? When the person cuts you off, that's like this bell. It's an opportunity to practice, you know. Instead of raging on them or whatever else you do, it's an opportunity. Be glad you're not them. Be glad you're not caught in their skin. This piece of cloth. This piece of cloth is a symbol of commitment. It's not a social statement. It's not a status statement. It's a statement of commitment. To accept this, to really live this, I must be prepared to give up everything. Even my life, if that becomes necessary. It's just that Zen practice is not sort of a chic thing to do. It's just serious business. It's life and death business. Because it gives us the opportunity to come directly in contact with all of that suffering that's been communicated to us, passed on to us through endless streams of family generations and the collective conscious we're a part. Now, I haven't always been a monk. I have a son. My son wears a uniform. He's got, no, not this one. My son wears a uniform. He's not a firefighter. He's not in the military. And he's not a police officer. He's a commercial airline pilot. Yeah. But you see, karma is different from fatalism. Fatalism says I'm hopelessly trapped in a particular stream of consciousness. There's nothing I can do to change that. That's just the way it is. And that kind of served us as combat soldiers. Because my life was constantly under threat. Constantly. And the mantra was sort of like, well, my time's up, it's up. You know, I don't have any control over that. It's true and it's not true. Karma says that I have the possibility to change that which I have inherited if I'm willing to wake up to it. But I have to abandon any idea about what that means. So really, again, sit just to sit, walk just to walk, eat just to eat, work just to work. So there it is. My son still wears a uniform, but he's not a soldier. And I didn't tell him not to be. I never got in his face about that. When he came to me with his desire to be, a desire to be a pilot, he said, but Dad, it's like, how can I learn to be the only way I can learn to be a pilot is to go in the military. And I said, no, it's not the only way. You know? He said, well, what are the other ways? I said, well, there's a library, encyclopedias, go do the research. He did. And he took the civilian path. A little bit longer, a bit harder work on the surface of things. But the price we pay for military service is immeasurable. And yet, this presented me with another dilemma. when I first got out of the military, I did everything I could to like forget about it. You know, forget about it. Just, it's done. It's over. Let's get on with my life. I couldn't do it. I wasn't able to do that. What I've had to do, what I've had to do over time is learn how to make peace with my unpeacefulness. Now, I was a good soldier. I served honorably. Within that context of all of that, what I've done is I've done horrible things. But I'm not a good or bad person because of what I've done. I am responsible. So how do I work with that responsibility? Because I can't give back life. There's nothing. I can't. But if I blow up a bridge, I can help build a bridge. If I've destroyed a house, I can help build a house. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen in the space where that took place, that violence took place. So, as I continue to sit, just to sit, and be increasingly more and more open to the roots of war, violence, and suffering in me, what to do next sort of begins to show itself. How did I end up here in Rotterdam? Jifu, they got it right. Jifu she didn't know me from anybody. I was trying to think of a clever Dutch name, but I'm not very good at it. Matthias met me in 2015? 11. Oh, 2011. Met me at 2011 at my home temple, the Zen Center of Los Angeles. Right? And what he reminded me was that I talked to him after I don't even know what I was doing there. I happened to be doing some commitments in the area. I stopped through to say hello, because whenever I'm in the area, I pass through and say hello. And the abbot at the time, I said, "Oh, well, Sunday we have it. I give a talk on Sunday. How about you give the talk?" I went, "Well, okay, sure." Matthias happened to be there, and after the talk, I guess we had a conversation. Yes. And he remained interested to have me come here. This is 2011. We get an email this year. I'm going like, who's this guy? I didn't remember. But then because my attendant in the U.S., she's the one who brought that to my attention. When I read the email, I went, oh, yeah. I still didn't remember. But I remember the circumstances. So from then till now, here I am. Yes, life is. I went from not knowing whether I wanted to live or die to like, I'd like to make it to 800. I really would. I mean, it's not going to happen. I don't think, but I really would. I mean, I find life so incredibly interesting today. It's just an amazing experience, all of it. Even though I still go often into war zones. I carry this practice into war zones. Earlier this year, end of August, first part of September, I was in the Ukraine. I was in Odessa. I was there for 9 days. I just wanted to get a feel for the place, taste of the place. I'll go back. They asked me to come back. And I'll come back. Next time I come back, I'll probably come for 3 months. Because I'll base in Odessa and then travel out, closer to where the actual ground fighting is. Because people need us. They need us. And so I'll go. Jifu asked me if I was afraid. And my quick answer was, no, I'm not really afraid. I mean, it's not entirely true. But the idea, I would rather not die just yet. I'd rather not. I still got things to do. But also, going into these places is incredibly important, and to carry this very simple basic, offer these very simple basic tools. The most powerful tool we have at our access is one breath followed by one breath. And it's free. One breath followed by one breath. I've talked enough, I'm done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for questions. Now you have an opportunity to ask me any question you want, providing it's a question. Yeah? It's Rotterdam, right? You're students of Jifu. 10 words or less. Why? You're Zen practitioners, right? You'd be able to get to the point. If you need a couple more words, I'll give you some leeway. But this is not a discourse. You can ask me anything you want. I'm glad to respond to you. I don't have any answers. None. I will respond to you from a place of my life experience, my years living as a monastic, and my study. Yeah. Questions? Go ahead. Oh, do you mind if I drink tea while we do this? No. Hi, Nicola. Nice to see you. Yes. Go ahead. Yes, then here. Yeah?
Okay. I've read about your upbringing with your mother.
Question.
Oh, I'm sorry. How do you feel for your mother now?
Well, did everyone hear that question? Okay. I grew up I had a very violent childhood, and my mother was the primary perpetrator of that violence. Yeah. My father wasn't void of it, but my mother was the primary perpetrator. The violence was physical and sexual. And I hated her. I absolutely hated her for years. People would ask me I used to tell people that my mother and my sister, who lived with my mother, they'd been killed in a car accident. I didn't have to deal with it. Yeah. I don't know when this happened to me. My mother died quite some years ago. I made some efforts to, after I stopped using intoxicants and after I got just was introduced to this practice, I made some efforts to connect with her. But the larger reality was that she hadn't done anything to address her suffering. So the moment we came in contact, it set off a dynamic that I had no control over, and it was just abusive and toxic. And so the most compassionate thing I could do is not have any contact with her. When she died, I had a measure of sadness, but not too much, because I had grieved the loss. I'd been grieving the loss for some time. But just recently, within the last few years, I suddenly had a different feeling from my mother. It was like, oh man, what must have happened to my mother? I never considered that before. What must have happened to my mother to be like that, to behave in that way? And so I had it more, well, I'm going to use the word compassion, but I don't like these words, but I had a more compassionate relation with my mother and me. Yeah? Question?
Maybe a silly question.
Well, wait, say that again?
Maybe it's a silly question.
No, there is no such thing. Never.
If you can learn to be more aware,
Mm-hmm.
how much more aware do you think you are now than when you started your Zen practice?
Well, you can't become more aware. It's not something you chase at. I have no idea what awareness is, and that's not why I do what I do. I do what I do just to do it, really. And I don't know. I don't know that I'm aware now. I mean, I have a different relationship, much different relationship with the world now than I had, and it continues to change for me. It continues to open up. Like, I have the capacity today. I have some capacities today that I never imagined possible. And the center that I've had the privilege to help start is located in the panhandle of Florida. Now, for those of you who don't know the geography, Florida is this really long peninsula like this, and down here are these islands they call the Keys. But there's another part of Florida up here. This part is called the Panhandle. It's right underneath Georgia, Alabama, and underneath and next to Alabama. It's a pretty conservative area. There's 7 military bases there. And politically, it's pretty tight. There's a mechanic shop not too far. It's like walking distance from where the center is. And sometimes I've taken some of the cars that the center has there for repair. And the mechanic and the owner listened to this radio station that would make the current government in the United States look moderate. It really, they were like way out there. But at no point did I ever turn away from them. At no point did I ever belittle them for their positions. I always see, where am I connected? Yeah. In the past, I might have said, I'm never going back there again, you know. And I would have been, then immediately, I'm creating separation, and in that are the roots of war. So where am I connected, not where am I different? I came in there one day and the radio going on, and they were having some conversation about all these darn tree huggers and educated people and how they just ruining the country. And I said, hey, you know, right? I have a PhD in divinity, and I like to hug trees. And they went, guy put his hand on my shoulder. Yeah, y'all different. You know, you don't mind get your hands dirty. Yeah, and there's some truth to that, but it's because I didn't attempt to create separation, and that's what this practice is about. The practice for me is about waking up to the interconnected reality of which I'm a part of, to really experience the sentient beings in the world, to experience them. Now, it's quite different from how my life was in the middle. Up to about the age of 10, I think I was closer to this than I was between 10 and 40. Yeah? Go ahead.
I'm wondering, what is it that really did make you change your mind? So you mentioned several things, like you were almost dead and you met your Buddhist teacher. But,
yeah.
What has happened to make you make the change?
You know, I can't really say there was any one thing in particular. And there must, I mean, I had a desire to, I knew that there was something else besides what I was experiencing and living. I just kind of had a sense of that, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to get there. My idea was, it was about the next good job. It was about more money, about a bigger house, a faster car, a prettier girlfriend, or more girlfriends. It was about those kinds of things, and those just didn't work. That wasn't there, and I was desperate. I just didn't know, because I was too busy attempting to get my life to conform to all my ideas, and I was just sinking deeper into suffering. But as I had that, what I hope is my last overdose, so you have intensive care, and then you have a step down from intensive care. It's sort of a semi-intensive care. And there you can have people visit you. And 3 guys came in to visit me. I don't know who they were. To this day, I don't know who they were. And one of the men asked me, they said, you going to do this again? I said, absolutely. I said, death has got to be better than this. He looked at me, he said, how do you know? Could be worse. And I went, worse than this? Uh-oh. Yeah, it was just it was the absolute right thing at the right time. Now, I won't say that turned me around completely, because I got released from the hospital in the care of the psychiatrist, and then as soon as he left, I went down and I bought 6 bottles of beer, because I didn't know how else to deal with what was going on. But there was something happening, and then it was just, I just kept doing the next thing, not with intention. Like, I had no intention to become ordained. I lived and studied in a monastery for 3 years in France. They asked me to become ordained there, and I said, get out of here. There's no way. No, I don't want anything to do with monk stuff. Get out of here. But there was something there. There was a hunger, a thirst for something. And so the second time I got invited, I thought, why not? Let's give it a go and see how it works. Now, I was ordained. I received my novice ordination at one of the crematoriums in Auschwitz. And then I walked in robes without money to Vietnam. Yeah. And at some point in that pilgrimage, I became aware with each step that this way of living for me is just the best in the world. Yeah. So it's just how things unfold and how they continue to unfold. I mean, look at this. I don't know you from anyone. We have opportunity here to meet, really meet, to exchange with each other. That's amazing. Yeah. She keeps butting in with that bill, man. Questions? Yo, I get first the young woman, then.
Why do you don't like the word compassion?
What's that?
Why do you don't like the word compassion?
Oh, it's not that I don't like it. It's the idea of compassion. See, because I tell you, some of the most egregious forms of violence have been done in the name of compassion. You know, because people have the idea of compassion is not compassion. Unless we have a disciplined spiritual practice rooted in self-reflection, willing to wake up to the roots of war, violence, and suffering in us, then we'll still be caught in these ideas of things. And so once I'm willing to, so an idea pops up, once I'm willing to look at that idea from different angles of perception, not react to it or not reject it, nor allow it to control me, then the truth of compassion begins to show itself, and it's not a fixed point. It's not static. Yeah? So it's the same. Peace, love, right? When I hear the term love, I go, love. What's the archetype? What's the archetype relationship for love? Romeo and Juliet. Like, how'd that work out? You know, I mean, really, that's what's promoted for us. Romeo and Juliet are said this archetype relationship. And they both killed themselves. You know, here's something. I just met Jifu on the phone. We talked the first time. Then we just met at the door. We sat upstairs. And I can tell you unequivocally, I couldn't love her more. I really couldn't. But it has nothing to do with this ideas or the sort of concepts of love. It's something it's just here. It's like Genrai. Or Matthias. You know, here we are, 14 years later. And he didn't forget me. You know what that means? It means so much. It means a lot to me. You know, that I'm not invisible in some way. And really, I couldn't love him more. Yes. But not in these kind of ideas of it. The feelings that I have access to today, the experiences, oh man. Sometimes I don't know what to do with them. They're so powerful. But you know, I don't have to do anything with them. I just need to learn how to have them. Yeah. I don't even, when I was first engaging in this process, the social worker gave me a card. And the card had different feelings on it, right? Happy, sad, glad, angry, had all these. And so when I'd be experiencing something, I'd pull out the card. But now I've come to a place where I don't even need to name it anymore. Yes? Question? Yeah.
I've read that you stopped practicing martial arts.
Yes, it's true.
I was wondering why.
You see this, the why question. And have you ever, do you have children?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are they?
5.
5. Oh, yes. So your 5-year-old. So is there a particular food that your 5-year-old doesn't like to eat?
That
Does not.
She likes to eat.
She likes to eat everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky. Yeah. Because I have 2 grandchildren. One's 5 and a bit, and one's 2 and a bit. And sitting at the table, and the elder one is a granddaughter. Her name is Meredy. And you have some vegetables on there, and Meredy says, "I'm not eating that stuff." I said, "But it's good for you." She looks and goes, "Why?" I said, "Because it's got vitamins and minerals." He said, "Well, why?" So the why question is unanswerable. I will, though, respond to the issue about the martial arts. So I began the practice of martial arts at the age of 14. I studied and taught martial arts for 27 years. I have a 12th degree black belt. I stopped in 1989 because what I understood, and it became very clear to me, what I understood, I was just propagating systems of violence. And I didn't want to do that. And at the time, this was 1989, I hadn't yet arrived to this. But it was part of that awakening. See, I was teaching a class. I was teaching a class of black belts. They're all from different traditions. And the particular exercise was that we take one person out of the circle and put them in the middle. And then they had to fight everybody in the circle. Yeah. But no contact. And then my job was to ensure that there was no contact. So if somebody violated the rules, my job was to knock them out. Yeah. Or to really remind them that they were violating the rules. But I heard 2 people talking. And one was saying, "You know, my style is superior to your style because I can kick your butt." And it was right there, bam! I went, whoa, I don't want to be about that. And within 2 days, I was done. I took off the gi and never put it back on. Very interesting. As I stop and become calm, sort of transformation that takes place. And look, the robes of a martial artist became this, with no intention. It's the power of stopping. Yeah. Last question. Okay, go ahead.
I work in a nursing home, and on the website you also have like a course for caring professionals. And can you talk about it a bit?
Oh, I mean that I work with caring professionals.
Yeah, and also the question is, maybe I'm from 60 and my pension is 68, and I feel a bit dull in my life, but when I'm working I'm very sharp, and the work is very good, but ordinary life I find more hard actually.
Yeah, well, I won't argue with you. Ordinary life is kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's right.
Really? But my ordinary life is this. This is the point. Yes, ordinary life, post my military service, ordinary life made no sense to me at all. None. And I had to pretend that it did. It made no sense. And really, I didn't know what to do. So it's when I stopped trying to figure out what to do, just sat down. Stopped taking intoxicants, stayed stopped, sat down, followed the instructions of the teacher. Sit down, shut up. Get still. I didn't even know what that meant. It was impossible for me to be still in the beginning. Yeah. That what to do next became more clear. Yeah. These retreats that you saw with helping professionals. Yeah. You can access me through that website.
Okay.
Yes, you can write to me. I mean, I'm a 21st century monk. I've got a laptop, I do email. I have a, what, I don't know what you call them. I have a cellular phone. What do you call them in the Netherlands? Mobile, okay, yes. See, in Germany they're handies, and here they're mobiles, and cell phone. I have a cellular phone, I do text messaging. I'm not on Signal, I'm not on Telegram, I don't do WhatsApp, I'm not on social media, I don't do any of that stuff. But I'm accessible. Write to me. Please, write to me. Let's meet. Yes. And if there's any way I can be of support to you, let me. That is the point of this. This is not a costume that I wear. It really isn't. This is a symbol of my commitment to be of service to you. To be of service to Lord Buddha. Yeah? Now Buddha is not that fat statue you see in a Chinese restaurant. That's not Buddha. The icon is not Buddha. I mean, it's not other than Buddha, but it's not the icons that we worship. If you want to really know what Buddha is all of this. Buddha is simply a word which means awake or enlightened. You all of you are already enlightened. Really, true. Unless you think you are. If you think you are, check with Jifu. Yeah, really, for real. But no, we come into this world awake. And we're conditioned away from that awakened space. We can reclaim it if we're willing to sit down, concentrate on your breath. Breathe in knowing that you're breathing in. Breathe out knowing that you're breathing out. It's that simple. And people can't believe it's that simple. Not only is it that simple, it's free. I mean, you got to breathe anyway. Why not do it consciously? I'm gonna. There she is. This is a person who studies with me. I was talking to you about her. She's there. I'm going to end here. And I'm going to end in a way which has become traditional for me. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, bowing. So I'm taught a very specific way to bow. It's also a very disciplined practice. I'm taught to press my palms together, thumb tips touching, resting the thumb tips on the knuckle, then the tip of the longest finger parallel with the tip of the nose. I'm not too stiff nor too casual, just precise. And when I bow only at the waist, nothing else moves. In Japanese, the name of the position is Gassho. So in Gassho, I bow to Genrai for holding us with a skillful song of the bell. The bell creates the atmosphere which contains us. Its song contains us. Also, when I bow to Genrai, I bow to her for the years of dedication and support that she's provided, not only to the community that she is responsible for in Germany, but to me in this practice. Yes. And normally I would also thank the translator, but there's no translator here. So what I'll also do is, to all of you, in gratitude for your willingness to come here tonight, for the opportunity to meet you, I bow to you in gratitude. Yes. And please know that if there's anything I can do to support you on your path, let me. And most importantly, Jifu, for all that you are, and for all that you do, and for all that you hold here. I bow to you in gratitude. Yeah. May we meet again. Yeah. Hold your seat till I leave the room, please. Give Genrai a few moments of your time. I'm going to leave this here if you'd bring this up. Nicola, bow to you. Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Is that? Oh, Gabi Angyo. Oh, hi, Gabi. Yes. Yes, nice to see you. And for those of you who've come online, really thank you for your presence. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I bow to you in gratitude. Thank you so much for coming. And I don't really know what gratitude means. I don't have a fixed idea about it, but I use it. It points in a direction, you know what I mean?
Thank you for listening to this episode on Zalto Live. If you would like additional information, please look at the show notes or visit zalto.org. That's ZALTHO.org. Our work is made possible solely through donations, so please consider making a tax-deductible gift on our website. We wish you well and thank you.